everybody. Raven fans, Oriole fans, thank you for joining us today with our Ravens and Orioles Baltimore Sports Podcast. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for allowing us to go ahead and talk sports with you today. We want to thank you very much for that. Thank you for the privilege of you, however you're watching us. If you're watching us on our YouTube page, our Facebook page, our LinkedIn page, YouTube page, Twitter page, which is now X, which changed like overnight, or you're watching this on our Twitch channel. So thank you very much for joining us today with that. So we appreciate it very much. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that squared away and get it taken care of for you with Genesis Notary Services. That is my notary business. We will come out to you in the Winchester, Virginia area, Frederick County, Clark County. This is strictly for you out there. If you're in Northern Virginia, maybe you're in Fairfax County or something else, we'll come out and do it. Drive out and go ahead, get you squared away. Wedding efficient, general notary. We're going to be getting loan signings pretty soon. All out of the notary business. If you have any notary needs in the Northern Virginia area, Shenandoah Valley area, we'll be happy to come out for you and do Genesis Notary Services. Website is available, so you can buy jerseys like this one I'm rocking. Got a distributor get me rocking the Kelly Craig jersey. I was pumped up to get my buddy Lee Kelly Craig 97 jersey. Jerseys like this as well. You can go on ravorisports.company.site. You can go on there whenever you're ready. Go on the website and get jerseys whenever you're ready on the website as well. So we can go ahead and get that taken care of for you as well. Couple notes here. First of all, our outing, August 5th, Frederick, Maryland, 197 Halltown Road. So it's not Frederick exactly. It's like Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. It's about 20-some minutes from Frederick. But definitely, you can go ahead and check us out. You can meet me in person, our team that will be out there, Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. You can go ahead and buy our products. They'll be available right there. So you can get Orioles jerseys, Ravens jerseys, hats, shirts, things like that. They'll all be out there right at our table in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. We will be going ahead and getting out there. We have Ravery Sports Tour also on August 12th. So every Saturday in August, we will be out there, have our Ravery Sports Tour. Okay, so we'll be out there shopping. You get out there, you can buy products firsthand right there, take it home with you right there at the flea markets there. So we'll have 4 in a month. One will be in Baltimore, one will be in Boonesboro, one will be in White Post. Again, so we will go ahead every Saturday in August. We will go ahead and be out there as well. Couple of channel notes. Okay. We're going to go ahead and do the Raven State of franchise in a second. September 1st, we're going to do our first Maryland Terps football preview. So I did put that out there this week. How many of you actually follow Maryland football? Should we do a video and all that? So definitely it was a resounding yes. We're going to go ahead and go over the Maryland Terps season this year. Mike Loxley coming back. Excellent job he's done in difficult circumstances with Maryland before in a very difficult situation. It's going to get tougher in the Big Ten because you're going to get USC and you're going to get UCLA next season. So good job by Mike Loxley this year. We're going to go over the Terps' chances. We're going to go over a lot of the Big Ten as well. Friday, September 1st, that's going to be a live stream. So we're going to be live that night on the air. Probably, hopefully, schedule permits it. It'll be live. If not, we'll just record. September 3rd, we're going to go ahead and do our NFL preseason predictions. So we did that last year as part of our podcast. This year, it's going to be a standalone video. Probably now to be too long to go ahead and do that. There's a lot of things we talk about. So we're going to do that as a standalone video September 3rd. That's going to be the Sunday night before the season starts. We're going to go ahead and do that. Possibly, again, that'll be live. Hopefully circumstances work out where we can do it live that night and go ahead and do that. So we'll go ahead and get all that squared away on on the channel. Thinking about going to the first Maryland game this year, too. So I'm excited about that as well. Hopefully, again, seeing how that looks as well. Raver Sports Tour will be over, so that Saturday might spend at College Park. Go ahead watching the Terps first game against Towson, and we will talk about that on the channel as well. But let's do it. Training camp has just begun. So we're going to do the state of the franchise. Let's take a look at the Ravens. This is kind of basically what it says. So the president has the State of the Union. Ravens have state of the franchise. What exactly is going on? So we're going to basically what this is going to do is this is kind of put a bow on the offseason a little bit. Kind of do that as far as that goes. We're not going to have preseason games yet here we're going to go over, but we're going to kind of put a bow on our head and kind of like look at everything basically in synopsis storylines, what happened for the off season. So let's go ahead and take a look at the state of the franchise. Coaching staff and GM. John Harbaugh is entering his 16th season as head coach. John Harbaugh's been a phenomenal job, obviously. I think the lack of playoff success in recent years has soured some fans, some frustration, but you can't ask much more when John Harbaugh is done. He's been phenomenal throughout these years. He's a phenomenal coach. The only thing, John is going to be 61 this year. How many more years are you going to go with John Harbaugh? How many more years is that going to happen as well? That's the only question. I don't think he's getting fired. He's on the hot seat or anything like that. I think because the Ravens will be good. I think the Ravens continue to play well. I think he will leave when they start losing. I think that'll happen. I think he'll bow out. I think as long as the team is good, I don't think John Harbaugh's going anywhere. Eric DeCosta, his 5th season as GM. Eric DeCosta spent his whole career as a Ravens employee in football, all the way up from intern, all the way up to GM. He could have been a GM other places. Really wanted this job in Baltimore. He's basically, if you look at it, he hasn't had any other job except Baltimore. Good job as GM as far as Eric DeCosta goes. He's a little bit even more personal with the media, I think, than Ozzie Newsome was. Ozzie really didn't talk to the media at all. Ozzie really didn't have anything to say to the media. Eric's a little more talks a little more, might do a little talks a little bit more here and there, but a little bit more personable in general. More of a straight shooter. I think that Ozzie was, where Ozzie was kind of more covert with everything, where he's more of a straight shooter. Big change. Todd Monken, now the offensive coordinator for the Ravens. This is his first season. Last season, I think he coached at the University of Georgia Bulldogs as an OC. He went ahead and led them to the national championship as offensive coordinator. They got him the gig as the OC of the Baltimore Ravens, replacing Greg Roman. He is going to go ahead. His job 1, 2, and 3 is to get the team to move from a running team to a passing team. Get the ball downfield. He's even mentioned you're going to see a lot of the same stuff Lamar did in Louisville in college that was effective. That's what you're going to see as well as him as offensive coordinator. It's tough to find a read on exactly what he does, though, his philosophy. As much as I've tried to find out, we'll see. He's kind of like fits right in with Harbaugh, very covert with exactly what he's going to be. And this is kind of the lay of the land with a lot of coaches and players nowadays. Mike Macdonald, 2nd season as defensive coordinator last year, replacing Wink Martindale. I was not as big on Wink Martindale as a lot of fans were. Everybody was shouting for Roman said I was more Wink. I didn't like Wink's that lack of a better term, blitz, all in blitz. I always would say with Wink, like, as much as you're blitzing, how come you're not getting sacks? How come you're not, taking a quarterback there? And all this, but everybody loved the way he. I didn't like it. Mike Macdonald is exactly what I thought he'd be. A little bit more traditional, a little bit more conservative, and you saw it. more relies on his talent, not as much of that blitzing, that zero blitz that you saw all the time. Chris Horton, big job here with the Ravens, special teams coordinator, the last of the coordinators, fifth season as Ravens um, uh, special teams coordinator. Obviously, the Ravens have some of the best special teams players in the league. Justin Tucker is there. Last year, they went ahead and made a draft pick. Bad news, though, Nick Moore is going ahead and looks like he's going to miss the season as well, the long snapper. So, adjustment there that Chris Horton is going to have to make. Veteran departures. I don't know if I got them all. We got all the major ones. Kenyon Drake, Demarcus Robinson, Sammy Watkins. Not sure even if they're with another team. Veteran guys as well. Josh Oliver, a bit of a surprise, getting a big contract with the Vikings. Josh Oliver was pretty good last year. He was able to keep Nick Boyle on the bench all year long. Did very well, I thought. Not surprised that he got a contract with the Vikings. Hey, look, pairing him with TJ Hockenson is going to be tough for any team. Ben Powers, I thought, was the blessing and the curse because he was finally settled. The left guard spot there finally got some traction there at left guard. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to stay. He went ahead, he priced himself out, got a big contract. Calais Campbell, this was basically cap, I think. There was some slippage with Calais. I never thought he was as great as people thought. He looked a little past his prime, I thought. But I think Calais was a good signing. I thought overall he was a good signing. I thought Calais is a good Raven. But signed with Atlanta Falcons. He's going to go ahead, play down there. Justin Houston, Pierre Paul, we still don't know. They're still listed as free agents. We're going to get to that later. Also with Chase Young, the rumors. Kyle Fuller, probably with the injury, not going to be able to play a lot of a bit injury prone, didn't bring him back. Marcus Peters the other day, congratulations to Marcus signing with the Las Vegas Raiders. He goes ahead and gets the contract signed with the Las Vegas Raiders. Jets, Chuck Clark is gone, traded for a 7th round pick. Unfortunately, Chuck out for the season with the Jets with an injury. What came in? This is still fluid because we're still in camp, but so far, Nelson Aguilar was first. He went ahead, signed with the Ravens from New England. I think he's perfect. I think he's definitely an upgrade for the 3rd, 4th receiver-ish guy. I'm fine with that. I think they even needed that. I think the receiver room was so weak. I think the 3rd, 4th receiver. It was a little concerning, because he was the first one. But I got no problem with that. Nelson Aguilar. He's definitely going to be on the roster. Rocky Sin. Look, this is what they replaced Marcus Peters with. I don't know. I think he's been solid so far in camp. I don't think in mini camps and everything. The team is happy with him so far. We'll see. I think he's about an average corner. We'll see what goes on there. Odell Beckham almost needs no introduction with the Rams. Last of the Rams, they actually didn't have a team at all last year. Odell signed with the Ravens. He's going to be your new number 1 receiver. Could make up to $18 million this year. I think Odell, this is a phenomenal signing. Odell Beckham's hands are otherworldly. He can 50-50 balls, catching in traffic. Can you keep him healthy? I think this is a fantastic move for the Ravens. And look, non-commit. Let's say it doesn't work out right away. Doesn't work out. Hey, you're going to eat some money, but it's not like you're committing long-term or anything like that. So good move. Arthur Mallett just the other day with the Steelers. Kind of. I'm not loving these cornerback additions. Again, not bad, I guess. A decent enough signing for him, but kind of like, to me, he's kind of like just a guy. That's why he was kind of still available out there at this point, but we'll see how that works here. And Melvin Gordon signed the other day with the Broncos, last of the Broncos last year. I think people are making that signing more than what it is. I don't think it's more. I think people are making more than what it is. I think he's really a training camp guy. I think with JK on the shelf, quote unquote, Gus maybe not, Gus injury history, and I think they're just taking another shot. I think the $3.15 million number is kind of what taking people back, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, if he plays, he's 30 years old, so that's about right for a guy. If he plays during the season, uh, he'll go ahead and get that. Real quick, draft picks, Zay Flowers. I believe he's going to be your number 2 corner, number 2 wide receiver this year, along with Odell. Lamar saying Rashad Bateman's number 1 receiver. I don't buy that for a second. They didn't bring these guys in to have him be the number 1 receiver. He'll certainly get a chance to compete for it, but I think it's going to be Zay Flowers and Odell getting most of the time. Trenton Simpson, we'll see how much time he gets this year, depending on what they do with Patrick Queen. Tavius Robertson is going to go ahead and compete at left tackle, at outside linebacker with Adafi Owe, David Ajabo, and whoever else they bring in. We'll see. Kyle Blue Kelly is going to be the corner from Stanford. Lots of potential there. I think there's room at the quarterback spot to go ahead and get that squared away. His name, Lalalutu. I'm not going to mispronounce his first name again. He was running with the first team in minicamp. Surprised me. And Andrew Voorhees is going ahead, and he's going to basically have a redshirt year. Injured, probably 3rd round pick. Probably saving him. You see him see him in 2024. That's what's going to happen there. All right, 5 biggest games on the schedule. Week 2 against the Bengals. I think this is going to be the toughest opponent all year. I think the Bengals are very good. The Bengals, I think, and the Ravens, I think, is an excellent early test for them. I like the Ravens schedule. Lots of games early, the division games, tough ones early. Cincinnati early on the road. Cleveland early on the road. Pittsburgh early on the road. Tough early stretch. So that's another biggest game on the schedule. Week 5 against the Steelers. You have to put the Steelers on there as one of your biggest games on the schedule every year. You know it's going to be rivalry game. You know it's going to be close. You know it's going to be there. We'll see how the Steelers do. Steelers are decent enough still. I don't think they're going to fall into the abyss, but it's going to be a tough sledding for them in the season. But it's definitely a great test for them as well. Chargers on the road. So this is a night game for you as well. I think it's Sunday night game that they have. Week 12, you never know. They might flex it out. But Chargers are big. Justin Herbert with the big contract he just signed just the other day. So a lot of showcase here. The two of the better young quarterbacks in the NFL, Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert. Chargers, I think, big for them as well, having to show that they are going to be in the upper echelon elite. A lot of pressure on them this year. Kind of, you could almost argue they've underachieved, although they've had a decent enough record. How about a team breaking into the elite category being the Jacksonville Jags? Jags are going to be very interesting this year. I think they are easy in their division. I don't think, certainly nobody in their own division is going to challenge them, I don't think. But can they break into that upper echelon category? Can they break into that category as an elite team with the Chiefs and the Bengals, etc., as an elite team? Week 17 versus Miami. Ravens have got to have this one circled after the embarrassment of the second half that they had last year against Miami. They definitely have to be ready to go in this one against Miami. Miami should be pretty good. We'll see how good the Dolphins are. A lot of that for them hinges on health of Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know about that, but I'm sure he plays either way. Ravens will have this one circled. All right, 5 biggest storylines for the Ravens. Are the Ravens going to go into a passing offense with Lamar Jackson's new wide receivers? That's the big thing. They have been as quiet as it's kept, and they've been trying to shift from a running offense to a passing offense the last couple years. But they didn't have the weaponry, et cetera, et cetera. You have it now. You have the new coordinator. You have the new offense. Can you go from a running quarterback to a passing quarterback to a passing offense to having a lot of passing yards? That's the thing. That's what they're looking for. Who will lead the Ravens in pass rush? Who will get the most sacks? I have no clue. They have a lot of young guys, Adafiowe, David Ajapo. It looks like so far they're going to get more time. Rumors out there, we'll see. That's a bit of a thing. I don't think they're as worried about that, but still a question there. Who's going to be the guy to step up? Number 2 corner for me. This is one for me, definitely. Who's going to be next to Marlon Humphrey? Rock Ya-Sin is going to be the guy. They signed Arthur Mallett the other day. They drafted Kyle Lou Kelly. Brandon Stevens, what we understand, maybe playing more safety. Interesting to see what happens there. I think they may have a problem. We'll see, especially if hopefully Humphrey doesn't get hurt. But they're going to be throwing at the other side a lot. They're going to do a lot of avoiding of him. Can Lamar Jackson play the whole season and get to the playoffs? Look, I think it's a real thing. He's missed the last month of the season. I think this is why they're changing the offense. I think this is why they want to get away from some of the running. I think this is why they want to do some of these things because they are wanting to make a change. They want to keep Lamar healthy for the long haul. And can John Harbaugh get along with OBJ? I don't know. Harbaugh just doesn't get along. He's the type of guy. He's like he likes good soldiers. Like Lamar's a good soldier. Roquan's a good soldier. Ray Lewis was a good soldier. Some guys had more intensity, but guys with a bit of a diva mentality, me and all is doesn't work with her. I'm really fascinated to see how that goes. Can he get along with how that goes all season? I don't know. That's kind of why I was like, maybe they wouldn't sign Odell, but we'll see how that goes. But clearly, he's your most talented wide receiver. So there's no question about that. So there you go. State of the franchise for the Ravens. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that. So definitely preseason is going to start here pretty soon. Camp has started just the last couple days. We're going to have training camp reports as well with that. And we're going to go over that as well, training camp reports. And also, too, we're going to go ahead and predict the 53 roster once we get a little bit closer. Who's going to be the 53 guys on the Ravens roster? Exactly, from training camp. So training camp, you have about 90. Let's go ahead and predict the 53 that we're going to have. All right, so we've been doing our top 10 lists. And so what we're going to do here this week is offensive tackles. Okay, so we're looking at the top 10 offensive tackles in the NFL going forward. And this, like as all of these lists are now projections of the 2023 season. Some of it obviously is based on what they've done, potential, whatever. But this is the 2023 season. What we think here at Ravy Sports for the 2023 season of offensive tackles going forward. All right, so let's go ahead and get this squared away for you. Always saying squared away, military term. Get yourself squared away, soldier. All right. Ronnie Stanley. This may surprise some people that I have him here. But Ronnie Stanley, I think, kind of like with the quarterback list with Deshaun Watson, a lot of people forgot how good Ronnie Stanley was. A healthy Ronnie Stanley was good. His win rate on runs last year was very, very good. I think like he was kind of getting his sea legs under. He was kind of rotating in and out by the end of the season. He looked like pretty much the same guy. I think he's going to be a top 10 guy. Again, he was very good last season. I think he'll be good again this season. I think he's a top 10 guy if healthy, and I think he will be healthy. Let's mark this. I mentioned win rate. I was remiss in that saying that. What's the stats I look at with these guys? Win rate, pass and block win rate. So ESPN and PFF, Pro Football Focus, put out grades as far as win rate. How much guys win in terms of their battles. So how many run plays do you win? How many pass plays you win? Penalties, the lack therefore of, or whatever, this factors in, and potential. Okay, so again, projections of the 2023 season. what kind of potential, how good you think they're going to be going forward. Another guy kind of in the same category with Ronnie Stanley. Lots of injuries, though, banged up a little bit in recent years, but I think he's a top 10 guy. David Bakhtiari for the Green Bay Packers. Now, no Aaron Rodgers now, so we'll see how that goes. He's going to have to block for Jordan Love. Big adjustment there for them. But I think Bakhtiari, I think, is a top 10. I think as long as he stays healthy, I think Bakhtiari is definitely going to be a guy in the top 10. Very strong, big Bakhtiari. I notice that every time I play, every time I see him. Hopefully the name I'm getting right. Jordan Malarita. Hopefully we got that right there. He's a former 7th round pick, one of the few guys of the international program that the NFL has. And also, it's definitely paying off. He's definitely one of the top 10 tackles. I think probably best tackle combination in the entire NFL. He was outstanding last year. Not Phillies. We'll get to the Phillies later. Eagles don't get to the Super Bowl. I don't think that this guy playing as well as he did, he was outstanding for them last year. I think the sky's the limit. I think he's going to be going forward too as a young guy. I think he's going to be their guy, one of the best tackles in the league going forward. Outstanding. Man, you might not know, but Christian Darrisaw was outstanding last year. 24 years old, very young guy for them. His win rate was 94.7 according to PFF. Focus as far as that goes. Surprisingly, how good he is. Had a really breakout season last year, blocking for Kirk Cousins. Sky's the limit for this young guy. I think 7 might be a little low for him going forward, but I'm gonna believe him at 7 now. I think he was outstanding for the Vikings last year. Everything I saw of him with the videos and everything was outstanding. Number 7, Andrew Thomas. Now, what do the Giants think of this guy? Just as I was getting this ready, 6 years, $117 million for Andrew Thomas, 24 years old. Pass win rate was 88. Look, this is what you have to have: a good, young, solid tackle, a guy who came forward last year for the Giants. Giants, they're going to run the ball a lot. And this is a guy, when you have a guy like tackle who can also pass block, that's very good. So Andrew Thomas, I think, is a good building block for them going forward. He was outstanding for them, one of their best players. Colton Miller, I had to look at this over and over. He was one of the few on the list we talked about winning rate, pass block, and running. He was on both lists. He kind of had, I don't know, he kind of got the rep as a bit of a, like, it's kind of like a mixed review, but like every time I look at the stats with him, he's very good. Colton Miller, I thought was very good with the Raiders, and he's been doing well with them. So I'm very impressed with everything he's done there with Las Vegas. So Colton Miller, I thought, has done very well. I think he's top 5 in the league. Absolutely. I mean, he's 5. One of the best offensive tackles, I think, in the league. I think you can put him on either left or right side, mostly left side. But I like him. Number 5, Colton Miller. Stats don't lie. I think there's facts with Colton Miller. These 4 guys are absolutely, you can put either 4 in any order, I think. But these guys, I think there's a clear distance between them and the rest of the list. Laramie Tunsil. A lot of people forget this guy because he's not on good teams, frankly. The teams is very good. Laramie Tunsil athletically is as dominant as anybody, and that includes the top 3. Why is he 4? Besides the teams he on isn't any good, is the fact a lot of penalties. That's the only thing with him. He gets flagged a bit for a guy that's as good as he is. But other than that, I think he's outstanding. Very good. Laramie Tunsil for the Texans, as good as any player in the National Football League as far as he's number 4 as far as tackle. Trenton Wirtz from the Bucks. This guy's been good for a good while here. Trenton Wirtz doesn't need help, doesn't need any great hands. Watching his hands and watching the guy kind of reminds me of a little bit. He definitely kind of reminds me a little bit of Anthony Munoz, the way he handles himself. Very good, talented guy, Trenton Williams. Lane Johnson, I think, would be outstanding. This is the outstanding duo that he had. Lane Johnson's been good for a while. I love Lane Johnson. A lot of his intensity too, as well. Some guys have that football intensity, want to fight all the time, want to scrap all the time. That's Lane Johnson, and he has a tremendous amount of talent. A top guy. There's no doubt here. Trent Williams is number one. Easy best tackle in the league. Only doubt is going forward. 35. He's going to be 35 soon. That's the only thing. He's getting older. Offensive tackles play older, but getting up there in age. That's a little question with him. Other than that, he's outstanding. No question about it. Trent Williams, number one tackle in the NFL. So there we go. Our tackles list. As far as who are the best offensive tackles next week. Next week, we're going to do interior linemen. So who is the best interior guys inside in the NFL? So this week, left tackle, right tackle, interior guys. Let's do larger NFL context, some questions here we're going to go ahead and talk about here with the NFL larger. Saquon Barkley signed a long-term $1 billion after signing a one-year $11 million deal with the Giants this year. Will he sign a long-term deal? If he wants to take a discount, if there is a guy that should be more valuable, look, they got Daniel Jones as your quarterback. Like, you should be wanting Saquon to stay. They just don't pay running backs. I think he'll sign like a 3-year deal if he takes like $5 or $6 or $8 million. But I think he's looking for more than that. He deserves more than that. So yeah, I think he signs a long-term deal. I don't think it'll be for the big money that he's looking for. Which quarterback with a new team will lead his team to the playoffs? I think whenever you change quarterbacks, I think it's a good reset for the franchise. I think it's a good start point. There's a lot of excitement whenever you do that. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get a shot. I think I like the fact that he's with McDaniels there because he doesn't need to do anything with the playbook. He understands everything they're going to do. He understands personnel. He's got a great receiver. I think I think the Garoppolo thing in Las Vegas is a good idea as well. I like the rookies. I mean, Bryce Young, I think, has a good shot at it in Carolina. I think it's a weak division. I think even being the number one pick, I think we're going to find out quick. And they're not in Carolina. They're not phoning it in at all. I mean, they went out and got Miles Sanders. They went out and got Adam Thielen. So they're trying. I think the easiest answer is Aaron Rodgers here. Aaron Rodgers is going to take the just to the playoffs. I think Aaron Rodgers is a massive upgrade over anything they've had the last 6 or 7 years in New York. So I think Aaron Rodgers, I think, is the answer there. Which new quarterback? Are the Jaguars, an elite team in the AFC? I think I'm going to say yeah. I really like the Jags. I think you got Trevor Lawrence there. I think Travis Etienne, I think, is good. Everybody's forgetting about Calvin Ridley. That's a great signing for them. That's a great signing, getting a Calvin Ridley there for them. I think on defense, they're better than people think. I think they have Forsada Olakin, rather. He had 128 tackles. You had Josh Allen. He had 7 sacks. I think he's got potential for more. I think the defense is going to be good. I think this is a top 5 team in the AFC. I really do. I think also too, again, that division is so bad. Like the Ravens are going to have a dogfight in a good division. Like that division is lousy. So I think they're getting better. And I don't see any reason why you wouldn't put them in the top of the AFC. Is Bill Belichick finally on a hot seat? I've never believed in the whole genius Belichick stuff. I think he's benefited, obviously, from having the GOAT Tom Brady all these years. He's an excellent defensive coach. There's no question about it. I think he is an excellent his teams play with discipline. I think I kind of always compare him like to Greg Popovich. Like his teams always play discipline. The Patriots aren't out here doing stupid stuff or getting flat. Play with great discipline. That wins you games. Uh, the problem I have with the Bills, the problem I have with Belichick is there's no Tom Brady around. He doesn't particularly draft well. I don't know how good of a GM he is, and it's odd. Unlike Popovich, he doesn't really seem to have a good relationship with the Crafts. That's just total speculation. But he doesn't really seem to be friends with the Crafts. He certainly wasn't with Brady. A lot of ex-players aren't enamored with him. That kind of like wears thin, like if you're not winning. And I'm pretty sure they won't win that division. So we'll see. Getting warm. Getting warm. I don't think he's as safe as people might think. I think he goes 7-10 again or something like that. There's going to be clamoring for something new in New England. And we'll trade between Chase Young and Patrick Queen of the Ravens. What I'm supposed to be saying, I'm the Ravens guy, right? So I'm supposed to talk about the Ravens. This kind of more says to me more about Chase Young. That the Commanders are really interested in this. I've heard that the Commanders may even do it without the Queen being involved, like a 4th round pick. That's another rumor. I've heard this so many times. I think there's something to this because you can't keep hearing because I heard this for weeks and weeks and weeks. So somebody wants to do the deal. I think the Ravens are fine either way without it. I think if they're not going to sign Queen long term, I think. But I play hardball with them and say I'm going to keep Patrick Queen. I don't know how much Young helps. I'm not in love with it though. I think Young. I think this might be waiting while they're Justin because he definitely would be an idea over Justin Houston. But I think this is kind of says okay, they're kind of giving up here. Where I think Queen, I think is more money. I think the Ravens would sign him if they had the money to sign him. They just signed Roquan for all that money. So I think it's more. I think the Commanders is more belief in the player. That's why I take a harder line with that. I'm totally fine with Chase Young, depending on how much money you're spending. Totally fine with him. Give him a shot, throwing him in with those young guys. I think he'd be your starter right away. I think he stays healthy. I think it's a good sign. I'm not in love with the idea of having Chase Young. There you go. So we went ahead and went over that larger NFL content. And now we're going to switch to our baseball summer that we have been doing the last few weeks. And this week, I really thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and do a prospect list, okay? So we've had the draft. We've had a lot of movement to the majors. We've had a lot of these guys. I really wanted to focus in on prospects that are coming up now in the system, prospects that are going on now. Some of these guys may still have prospect status. I did take them out. I took Colton Cowser out. I took Westberg out, Jordan Westberg, and I don't have Grayson. I'm not sure if he does or not. Technically speaking, a guy, if they've only played X amount of innings or X amount of as a pitcher, or X amount of at bats, they may still have prospect status. Cowser and Westberg are not going back to the minors. So they're going to play the rest of the year. So I take them out of the prospect list. Only guys that are not in the majors right now that have prospect status. Okay, honorable mention. Lots of pitchers here. Drew Rom, I think, is probably one of the best pitchers in the minor leagues this year. I think we'll see him next year. I don't think we'll see him this year. Crafty lefty. I think there's always a place for those guys. Seth Johnson has been injured all year long. I think he's going to be in the prospect list. I think he's going to get a shot at the major league level next year. I do. I think probably he had played. I think probably not right off the bat, but I think he'll definitely get a shot. 2022 minor league pitcher year, Ryan Watson struggled a little bit more this year than he did last year. Not as good. They kind of moved him up in level, struggling a bit. I think they still got their eye on him though. I definitely think he still possibly has a shot to get a cup of coffee. I think his ERA was right around 5 though. He's gonna have to do a little better than that. DL Hall. Yeah. He had an injury and he really hasn't been the same. He really was right there with Grayson for a while. Really, I think there was even hearing that he was going to be there before Grayson. He had an injury and he hasn't really been right since. He's not even. I think he's at rookie ball right now. So we'll see how that is going forward. And he's getting older, so time should be coming here for him. Creed Williams, got to put him. Arnold mentioned great year he's having down there at Aberdeen. Shout out to Creed Williams. Guy lost a lot of weight, got a lot better. Catcher, first base prospect, like Creed Williams going forward. So let's take a look at the prospect list. So the guy we just drafted, Enrique Benfield, outstanding young prospect. This is a legs player, center fielder for the Orioles in the Orioles minor league system. I think outstanding at Vanderbilt. I'm already putting him at the bottom of the top 10. I think he's absolutely a top 10 prospect. He's not going to be in the minors that long. I would say 2025. I think he's going to be in the minors this year. You probably want him to spend a whole year in the minors. Probably he's going to be at Delmarva. I don't know where he's going to sign yet, but probably going to be in rookie ball, Delmarva next year, probably Aberdeen, Bowie. I would think you probably want to spend a whole year in the minors before you actually send him to the majors. Where is he going to play? Interesting, because this list is really packed with a lot of good players. Orioles, one of the top franchises minor league system that is out there. Cade Povich has worked his way into the top 10. I think he's been the best pitcher in the minors this year. He's 23 years old. Crafty lefty for that. Not out of the realm that he could pitch for him this year. I don't know. I think lefties are always different. I don't think you need to have that exploding fastball as a left-hander. I think actually it's much more difficult for hitters to hit off a lefty. I think Cade Povich has been solid. I think he's deserving of an opportunity. Not a top 10 pitching prospect, not a top 100. But I think I could definitely see him being a rotation starter for somebody at some point, for the Royals at some point. Absolutely. Jed Fabian's been fantastic this year in the minors. I think he's been one of the best minor league players. I'm putting him at 8. He's outstanding prospect, hitting a lot of home runs in the minors for them this year. Really exploded this year, having a great season. Again, where you play him, because he's in the outfield, but he's been outstanding for him this year. Possibility he can move around a bit. I don't think he's necessarily outfield. I could definitely see him in an infield spot at some point. Samuel Balasso, outstanding 2026, 18 years old. Shout out to Michael Elias's international scouting. He's been pretty good. I think he's a good hitter. I think he's got a lot of hitting potential. I love his swing. I always like that. I always say that about players too. I like the swing. Some guys really have that good swing. Defensively, not as good as Rushman. I don't know if he's stays a catcher, but he's pretty good. Definitely a top 100 prospect overall in baseball. Definitely top 7. The Orioles. Max Wagner, that's my boy. Power stroke. Hits for power. That's what he's going to do. I don't know how good of an average hitter he's going to be. That's the only thing with him. Is he going to be a guy that's going to hit a lot of home runs? Is he going to be a guy that's going to – I don't know. Well, I'd say that. He's definitely going to hit home runs. I don't know how good his average is going to be. Because he's not hitting for a great average right now. It's like 240-ish in AAA. I'm sorry, in the minors. But I think he can get better with that. I think he swings for the fences a lot. So we'll see how that goes. Here's another legs player, Dylan Beavers. Very good. I think it's possibility you could see him. I think he's this guy that you could absolutely see him. You probably would have already seen him if it had not been for all the great prospects they have. Dylan Beavers, I think, is an outstanding center field prospect. I think a lot like Brenfield. Definitely can run the bases well. Good solid outfield defense, great speed, good contact. I think definitely he's going to be in the majors soon. Where do you play him? Again, that's the thing about the list. So many good offensive players. Very good job, Dylan Beavers, getting on the list. Connor Norby. Now, he's a guy who can move around a little bit. I see him as an outfielder, but he can play second base. He can play third base. He can play shortstop. Connor Norby tearing it up in the minors. I think definitely a guy ready to play in the majors sooner rather than later. I think he's more trade bait. I think he's got just so many guys. Their team. I think the Orioles might be dangling a guy like this to a different team. Kobe Mayo is now up to 3. Kobe Mayo is fantastic. I think as far as a outstanding prospect. Kobe Mayo, I love his power. Deadpool power hitter. That's what Kobe Mayo is. Kind of like a more almost said on steroids. That is term used in baseball, but he's definitely going to hit for power. Defensively, I think he's okay enough. I don't think you'll care because he's going to hit a lot of home runs. Heston Kjerstad, I think finally people are not sleeping on him anymore. He's already been a majors had it not been for just this outstanding class of him going forward. He is destroying the ball in the minors right now, destroying it. It's been outstanding all year long. No question about. I think he actually may stay in the minors only because he's been there so long. Jackson Holiday, I think is as good as any prospect we've ever seen. I have 2025. He's been just so good. I don't know if you can keep him in the minors much longer. I think he's been so good. Let's see how he does at Double-A again for a whole season. I don't think it's totally out of the ridiculousness that he plays in the majors next year. I don't think that was the original plan, but man, if he's going to hit 300, 330, 340, 400, like, and I don't think you can keep him there, even as young as he is. All tools that he has. I think I don't know how good of a power hitter he's going to be, but he's outstanding. He's not going to get traded for Shohei Ohtani, guys. He's not. They're not going to do that. They're not going to trade him away. Stop with the Shohei Ohtani stuff. Not going to happen. Okay, Shohei Ohtani is an outstanding player. The Orioles have no chance of signing him long term. All the money he deserves. Not going to happen. So I wish we could just put that to bed already and say, like, okay, we're not going to sign Shohei. I understand it, though. I mean, why you want to have him, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen that you're going to have Shohei Ohtani on the Orioles. So let's go ahead. Let's talk Orioles report, and let's get this squared away. Orioles on a roll, to say the least. I think this is one of the better teams in all of baseball, if not the best team of all of baseball. How cool is that to say that the Orioles are the best team in all of baseball? They're beating everybody. The Phillies game, and I want to talk about that one in particular. The one Monday, I thought that was one of the best games I've seen all season from any team. Orioles win 3-2 on Monday. I thought it was fantastic. Fantastic game from start to finish. First of all, you get the home run from Jordan Westburg, who hit his first major league homer. So shout out to him. That's the start of a great career. Everything about Jordan Westburg I've seen is competent. I think he's going to definitely deserve an outstanding major leaguer going forward. Aaron Hicks, I thought unfortunately was injured in the game, but the catch he made was sensational. I thought it's unfortunate he got hurt, but man, what a catch it was. Really, he hurt his wrist when he made a catch. He probably saved the run or saved. It was outstanding by Hicks. So what happens in that situation? So what you have to do in that situation, you have to put Colton Cowser in. Colton Cowser goes in, and he goes and gets the game-winning hit, replacing him in center field. So now you're out Mullins, and you're missing Aaron Hicks, and you put Colton Cowser in, this outstanding rookie who gets the hit in a key situation. It was fantastic. Mountcastle, again, look, having the sheer time because Ron Hearn's playing well. He goes yard for the 12th time of the season as well, stepping up. Guys, look, it's so impressive with so many names, guys who would be starting, having to share time because guys are playing well, and they're playing well in a limited roles and less time. It's incredible what these guys are doing. It doesn't matter who they put in. Uh, so shout out to those guys. Mountcastle really stepping up, and yeah, Mountcastle really stepping up and getting it squared away there. And we'll go ahead and take care of that in the offense. Dean Kramer, I thought was great too. That was great pitching performance. I think. Look, we're looking for a starter, but the guys they already have been good enough. Dean Kramer has been good enough. Dean Kramer's been good enough. Tyler Wells, Bradish, their top four. I know they're looking for more from their pitching, from their Grayson Rodriguez and those guys, but they've been really good all year long. So shout out to the Orioles there, getting that victory. I think I'm ready to buy playoff tickets. I don't know about you. I'm ready to buy some Orioles playoff tickets and get it squared away and get some Orioles playoff tickets. This is phenomenal. What's going on? I think it was 8 in a row or something like early in the year. Beating definitely their heavy favorites going to be against the Yankees that are going to come in this weekend. So outstanding stuff by the Orioles. Definitely want to go ahead and keep an eye on that. Next week we're going to do our recap of the month for the Orioles, and we're going to take a look at everything they're doing. Definitely there. We're going to also talk about the trade deadline as well. What's realistic? Not going to talk about Shohei Ohtani and all that other fun stuff, but we're going to talk about what's realistic for the Orioles to do. All right. So thank you for joining us on the Ravery Sports Podcast, the Baltimore Sports Podcast, for joining us this week. Like and subscribe to all of our social media platforms, which have been growing. Thanks to all of you out there. Thank you very much for joining us. You have a great rest of your day.